Hi there, everybody, and welcome back to another Newcastle United news show right here on the Toon Review YouTube channel. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Today, we're talking mainly transfers. Maybe a couple coming in the door and maybe one or two going out the door the other way. But, of course, these are just media speculations, guys, media reports. So take them with a pinch of salt, if you will. But I think, the more I see media reports linking with the same players, the more I think there's no smoke without fire. So there could be possibly something in this. Now, you can see there in the headline, Sesko back on the radar. There's plenty going on in the media today talking about Benjamin Sesko and bringing him in as the new striker at Newcastle United. This kid is quality. He's 20-year-old. He's 6'4". He loves getting stuck in. He's a brilliant finisher. And as a 20-year-old kid, he's took to the Bundesliga very, very quickly. 7 goals in 11 games. Now, he's currently not in the side because of the form of Lois Openda. So he is keeping him out the side at the minute. So apparently, according to the reports, Sesko is looking at his options now with possibly moving on. And the Premier League is certainly one of the leagues that he's got his sights on. He does have a release clause of around about 45 million. Which Newcastle United are prepared to pay. Now, of course, many people will talk about FFP, but we'll come on to that in the next story because, we know that Newcastle United may have to sell to buy, etc., and that is one of the possibilities that the club will be looking at in the summer, I'm sure. Revenue will be coming in. New revenue from, of course, Adidas and the Champions League and all of that kind of stuff. New sponsorships will be announced, I'm sure, in the upcoming weeks or through the summer for the following season. So there is going to be definite revenue improvement at the club, but we may still have to sell one of our top stars. It's inevitable, I think, the way FFP works. It's strangling a lot of teams, isn't it? It's really strangling teams to the point where we're going to end up losing these quality players. But hopefully, when we lose one quality player, that enables us to buy 2 or 3 other quality players and bring them on. Now, as I say, Sesko is currently... record is 7 goals in 11 games. It's a fantastic record. And the times that I've seen Sesko, he would definitely excite me to come into Newcastle United. There's no doubt about that. He's a very, very talented striker. And you know what? Callum Wilson... we can say now is probably coming to the end of his Newcastle career. I believe, if you believe what reports say anyway, that he wanted to move, of course, when Atletico came in for him in the winter transfer window. So maybe Callum Wilson not 100% happy at Newcastle United and thinks that his time is possibly up. I think a lot of fans would already say that because of the injuries that he's had and the fact that he just doesn't play on the pitch enough. He's more in the treatment room than he is on the pitch. And I'm sure Newcastle United have come to that conclusion and thought, yeah, this is it. He's had his time. He's done very, very well since he's been here, don't get me wrong. But the time is maybe now to move Callum on to a new club. But Sesko, would he come? I don't know. I mean, if we've got the likes of Bruno and Joe Linton, etc., still around, and we're talking to these quality players and we're saying, look, we've got these players already in the squad. This is where we want to be. Yes, this season hasn't been great because of injuries, etc. We can sell the club quite easily to Sesko, and I think the fact that the release clause is reasonably low when you look at how good this player is, I think it's a no-brainer for us to go for Sesko. But like I said, the more reports I see linking the same player with the club, the more I think there's no smoke without fire. So I think Newcastle United could definitely be interested in bringing Benjamin Sesko in. But let me know in the comments, is he somebody that you would be really excited about to see come in and possibly be our new number 9? Because Issac, he's not really an out-and-out striker, is he? I don't know where he's going to fit Issac into the side if he does bring Sesko in, because I think Sesko will want to be number 1. So... it will want to be first choice in that respect. So, I don't know. I mean, Issac played as a number 10 for Sweden last night, but would he fit in somewhere? I really don't know. But let me know about Sesko and what you think. Now, speaking of the Swede, Alexander Isak, there's more talk going on in the news this morning that Issac could well be the man that Newcastle United sacrifice in order to bring new players in. Now, they've talked about Bruno. He does have that release clause, of course, but genuinely speaking, I think Bruno wants to stay at Newcastle and build a legacy here. I really do. I know he's looked downbeat, and people took his interview way out of context yesterday, saying that, he's talking as if he wants to leave. I don't believe that at all. I genuinely believe that the interviews we've heard from Bruno in the past about wanting to build a legacy here, wanting to be a legend at the club, I really do see that being very, very true. I think he wants to be here and be part of the team that finally wins a trophy after so long. I really genuinely believe that. And I think Bruno believes in his own heart that he can win something at Newcastle, but we can't leave it too long. I think next season is a big year as to where Bruno is going to stay. If we start really challenging for things next year, then I think we'll keep Bruno for a number of years because he's got opportunities to win things. But a player like Bruno, when he's 26-year-old, he may want something very different when it comes to winning trophies. But Issac is continually being linked with Arsenal, guys. It is Arsenal that really have stepped up their interest in Issac. And now we paid £63 million for Issac. Let's not forget that. So Arsenal are going to have to pay a hell of a lot of money to get Issac out of Newcastle. So whether they've got the funds to do that, I don't know. But will they be in the same situation as the other clubs like Newcastle and etc. who've got to sell to buy? I don't think Arsenal are in that position because FFP was set up to look after the cartel, wasn't it? So I really genuinely believe that Arsenal would probably pay the money for Issac. But would you be happy with him going? I'm not so sure there'd be many people happy with us selling Issac. But if it meant bringing in the likes of, who we've just spoken about, Sesko, we've got a player coming up in the next segment who could be Botman's replacement while Botman's out injured. So we need to raise funds. I think the fact that now we definitely need another centre-back has alerted other teams to think, Newcastle United now need a centre-back, they need a striker. They are going to have to sell one of their best players. And suddenly it's deteriorated a little bit from Bruno and gone to Issac now as the man that could be leaving Newcastle United in the summer. But what price range? That's the question. What price range would you think that Issac's worth? Because if we paid £63 million for him, he's scored plenty goals since he's been at the club. I don't think Issac's hit his top level yet, but I also don't think Issac's been played in the right place. And that's not necessarily Issac's fault or Eddie Howe's fault. It's just the way Newcastle United play. With the 4-3-3, very difficult to put Alexander Isak on the left when you've got the likes of Gordon and Barnes, etc. So I'm not sure how much he'd be worth. I mean, probably, 80, 90 million, if not more, for Issac? And would Arsenal be prepared to pay for Issac? Because right now, Newcastle United are hampered by FFP, and we've seen that already many, many times. So selling Issac would be an option. And certainly the money we'd get for Issac is probably going to be around the same that we get for Bruno in his release clause. So who would you rather went? Would it be Issac or Bruno? That's the question. And for me, I'd probably sell Issac way ahead of Bruno. I think Bruno can be the linchpin of this Newcastle United side for years to come. And if it was between one of the two big boys to sell, I'd sell Issac. I wouldn't be too pleased with him having, going to another Premier League team. That's, I'd rather him go overseas. But at the moment, that's where we stand with FFP. And these sort of big decisions have to be made, of course, in the summer. So who would it be for you? Would it be Bruno or would it be Issac? Because one of them seemingly has to go in order. And finally, of course, Newcastle United recently announced the injury to Sven Botman that is now going to require surgery, and he will not be able to take part in any football for around 6 to 9 months. Probably the latter. He's going to be out a long time, but we need to make sure that this guy comes back fit because, as far as I'm concerned, he is still a future captain of Newcastle United, Sven Botman. He is still a Rolls Royce, although he hasn't looked like that since he come back from the injury. He's been laboured, he's been panicky on the ball, he seems like his mobility is very restricted, and, now we know why. However, Newcastle United could well head back to Italy to find his replacement, and that replacement is Giorgio Scalvini of Atalanta. Now, Newcastle United are reportedly watching Atalanta a lot, and this is because of Ederson, of course, the midfielder who Newcastle United are very interested in as well. But Scalvini has now come up on the radar simply because of the injury to Sven Botman. Now, Scalvini is a brilliant, brilliant centre-back, 6'4". He's only 20-year-old as well, but he's played nearly 100 times already for Atalanta. Now, as a 20-year-old, already made nearly 100 appearances for the senior team. This guy has to have something. He's played 8 times for Italy already. He's involved in the squad in this international break as well. So he is definitely someone to take a look at. Now, many people think, oh no, going back to Italy, you know, what happened with Tonali, etc. Look, we can't expect every signing to come from Italy to be the same as Tonali. I think it's a very strange and silly thing to say that every player that we sign from Italy is going to come in with, you know, has he been betting and things like that. I don't think that's the case at all. But you know, Scalvini would be a player I'd love at Newcastle United. Manchester United do have him on their radar as well. So that just tells you that, you know, Man United looking at him, you kind of think, yeah, this guy's quality. There was no other clubs mentioned in the actual report that I read this morning that other clubs are interested in, but you can bet your bottom dollar if Newcastle United and Manchester United are looking at him, then there will be other teams as well. Fee-wise, there wasn't anything in the report regarding the fee, but this guy could cost a lot of money. I mean, look, 20-year-old centre-back who's made 8 international appearances already and almost 100 appearances for his senior team. He is going to cost money. And again, this is where we go back to what the Newcastle United want to do in the summer. They need to raise money. So you think about Bruno or Issac leaving the club so that they can bring the likes of Sesko and Scalvini in. I mean, signing Sesko and Scalvini, that's 2 massive signings already in the summer if that happens. And then, of course, Newcastle United are continuing to watch Edison at Atalanta as well. So maybe a double deal can be done somewhere along the line. But it's going to cost money, guys. That's the problem. It is going to cost big money. And, you know, do Newcastle, have that big money available? Not at the moment, we don't. So you have to look to maybe one of the big boys being sold. And as much as we hate talking about it and we hate banging on about FFP, that is the situation that we currently lie in. There's no ifs or buts about this. This is genuine fact that, you know, despite the money that we're getting in through new sponsors and kit deals and things like that, we will still need to sell to bring in. And, you know, for me, the whole thing needs bloody revamping completely because it only suits the cartel. We know that. You know, the likes of Everton, Nottingham Forest, they've all piped up recently with complaints, and not just them, other Premier League teams complaining of the restrictions that they've got on them, yet they're seeing the cartel, of course, spend billions and billions. It's got to change. It simply has to change, and hopefully it will sooner rather than later. But Scalvini could be that Botman replacement that we're looking for, and eventually, of course, you know, when Fabian Schär comes to the end of his career, Botman and Scalvini, 2 very young centre-backs, to take us forward would be outstanding. I mean, there is 2 elite centre-backs right there. So that would really, really impress me. But let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As usual, if you have enjoyed the video, guys, please do stick a like on it. And, of course, if you're new and you like what you've seen, why not come and subscribe? It is free to do so. But don't forget to hit that notification bell as well, which will let you know when we upload any videos such as this one or we schedule our live shows. If you're watching this on Friday, then, of course, 7 p.m. tonight, it is the return of TTR Friday. Stroke Fan Forum. We have a lot of good laughs on there. Quizzes, competitions. Billy's Beef will be back. Shamed by Stato. Who is he going to shame this week? And of course, you guys have your chance to come in and have your say on Newcastle United, as well as maybe firing a few questions at you to win prizes while you're live on the show. So a lot to look forward to on there. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great Friday afternoon, and we'll see you soon. Take care.